My parents told me I couldn't bring my girlfriend to Thanksgiving because she wasn't established enough. I said okay. Then I showed up alone and they spent the entire dinner bragging about my cousin's new startup to their friends. The whole thing started 3 weeks before Thanksgiving when I mentioned bringing Sarah to meet the family. My mom's voice got that tight, polite tone she uses when she's about to say something cruel. Maybe wait until she has a more substantial career, honey. We don't want things to be awkward with all your father's colleagues there. Sarah worked as an investment analyst. She had an MBA from Stanford, but my parents heard analyst and decided she wasn't C-suite enough for their Thanksgiving showcase. I didn't argue. I just said I'd come alone. The dinner was exactly what I expected. 30 people crammed into my parents' dining room, half of them my dad's law firm partners and their families. The other half were relatives who only showed up when there was an audience to perform for. My cousin Derek arrived late, making a grand entrance with his girlfriend who works in marketing for some tech company. Everyone rushed to greet him like he was a celebrity. My dad immediately started telling everyone about Derek's new app idea, some social platform for freelancers that sounded like 12 other apps mashed together. I sat at the far end of the table, between my aunt and one of my dad's boring colleagues who spent 20 minutes explaining his timeshare strategy. Every time I tried to eat, someone would interrupt with a passive-aggressive comment. My dad kept saying things like, "Some people just have that entrepreneurial drive," while looking directly at me. My mom asked when I was finally going to do something impressive with my life. I just nodded and ate my turkey. My aunt joined in, asking if I was still doing that computer stuff for work. The way she said it made it sound like I was playing video games in my parents' basement. I said yes. She wrinkled her nose and turned away to talk to someone more interesting. Then my cousin stood up and announced he'd just secured his first investor $50,000 for his app idea. Everyone clapped. People were standing up to shake his hand. My dad raised his glass and said, "Now that's the kind of ambition this family needs." Derek went on for 10 minutes about his vision, his growth strategy, his projected user base. He used every startup buzzword he'd clearly memorized from a YouTube video: synergy, disruption, scalability. My dad's colleagues were eating it up, asking questions and offering unsolicited advice. My uncle asked me directly, in front of everyone, why I never thought of starting something like that. I told him I preferred stability. The whole table erupted in laughter. My dad actually slapped the table. Even my mom was giggling into her wine glass. They all looked at me like I'd just admitted I was afraid of success, like I was the family disappointment who chose the safe, boring path. One of my dad's partners made a joke about some people being workers and some being leaders. Everyone laughed again. I just kept eating, counting down the minutes until I could leave. After dinner, people moved to the living room for coffee and dessert. I stayed in the dining room, helping clear plates because it gave me something to do. That's when my cousin found me. Derek pulled me aside and asked for advice on LLC paperwork. He said his investor wanted everything formalized by next week, and he had no idea where to start. I told him I'd email him my lawyer's contact info. He looked confused. He asked why I had a business lawyer. I said I needed one when I sold my software company last year. His face went completely white. He literally took a step back. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. He just stood there, frozen. "How much did you sell it for?" he finally whispered. The table behind us went silent because my dad's a friend had overheard everything. I could feel everyone turning to look at us. The entire room stopped talking. You could hear ice clinking in glasses. My dad walked over, his face red, confused, and angry at the same time. He demanded to know what we were talking about. My mom was right behind him, her eyes darting between me and Derek. I looked at my cousin holding his $50,000 check like it was about to disintegrate and said enough that I'm retired at 31. My parents just stared while everyone realized my girlfriend they rejected owns the venture capital firm that turned down my cousin's pitch last week.